But do me a favor. Hopefully, let me make sure that we're live. Let's see here. Mm-mm-mm. All right. So let's see. It's live on Instagram. Hopefully it is. I don't know, but we're not gonna hold you guys up. Okay, yes, we're now live on Instagram. Perfect. Okay, guys. So welcome everybody. Do me a favor as you come on in, please let me know your city and state or country. If you're watching from a different country, definitely let me know what country you're chiming in from. I'm super excited to be here with y'all today. We're going to be talking about books, speaking, coaching, all of that. So I'm opening up this opportunity for you guys to ask me questions about anything pertaining to those topics. Now, just to get into this, please, again, make sure you type into the chat so that I can be able to see everybody's chats, what city and state. Okay, we have Vegas here in the house on Instagram. Hello, hello, hello. Let me do this just a test. Make sure I can send a message. 1 second. Just a test. Just a test. Just a test. And okay, it did send a message, but I ain't seeing the chat pop up. Child, so disrespectful. Let me just pull up the chats on the other screens too. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into this though, but I'm super excited to have you guys here. Buffalo, hey, Las Vegas here. What's going on? Let me know what city and state you guys are chiming in from. We have California here. Hello, hello, hello. City and state or country. If you're chiming in from a different country, definitely let me know where you guys are chiming in from. Also, I want to apologize because I'm trying to read this chat, but the chat is not showing anything at all. So I will just go ahead and look at some of the other pages to be able to find your questions and stuff like that. I won't be able to go to all the pages, but we are streaming to multiple platforms right now. We are streaming to Facebook, we're streaming to LinkedIn, we're streaming to Twitter, we're streaming to YouTube, and we're streaming to TikTok, we're streaming to, literally we all over the place, okay? That's how we do. So I am so excited about that. Like, I really love the idea of being able to stream everywhere, but now it's just a matter of being able to get all the questions. And so what I may do is I may offer a special way that you guys can actually ask your questions if I'm not going to be able to see the whole, like all the chats. All right. So we have Plainfield, New Jersey, Arkansas. Hello. Little Rock in the house. Atlanta's in the house. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see. I'm trying to get to my Facebook pages and all that other stuff, chat. So while I'm pulling up this and you guys are leaving your comments, just to introduce myself, if this is your first time ever getting a chance to hear me on a broadcast, my name is Taria. It's pronounced like Maria with a T. Okay, Maria with a T. Hear me on a broadcast. My name is Taria. It's pronounced like Maria with a T. Yes, Maria with a T. Maria with a T. Okay, Taria Vision Avant. I am the queen of book profits, and I love showing speakers, coaches, network marketers how to grow their businesses by leveraging the right book. So the specific space that I actually help individuals to become authors in is in the self-help space. When it comes to genres of book, you have books, you have fictional books, and you have nonfiction. But within each genre, you're talking about well over 25 to 30 plus different categories, okay? So the category that I'm in is going to be the nonfiction self-help, all right? Nonfiction self-help. And the reason why that's the industry that I actually coach in is because that's the industry I wrote my the category I wrote my very first book in. I wrote my first book back in 2012 when I was in the network marketing industry. At the time, I was generating over $30,000 a month in the network marketing industry. But I also had realized that there was a very large population of people who didn't really see, network marketing as a business. And I wanted to figure out a way to open doors for me to be able to get in front of audiences that I felt that, definitely needed to know about your girl. Okay. So I wrote my very first book, and that book opened up doors for me, right? Okay. Houston, Texas on Facebook. I see you, Houston, Texas. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Go ahead and type your city and state into the chat. When I wrote that first book, doors opened up. Then I saw immediately how, this is the crazy thing. Like, for the whole time when I finally decided to write a book, like for a year to 2 years prior to, I kept going to conferences. In fact, I actually invested $10,000 into a training where we learned how to write a book. And the whole time y'all, I was still like, I don't really want to write a book, right? I really don't want to write a book. Hold on, y'all. I'm just pulling up my YouTube so I can see the questions there. Like Chicago, Illinois, watching from YouTube. Hello. I thought writing a book meant writing a biography. And so for me, like, I didn't really want to write a biography. Cause like I have not really lived the best moments of my life yet. Like I don't even feel like I'm at my peak. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you hit the top, like when you hit that spot where you about to bust through, like I still feel like there's just so much. We have Ghana watching. Hello, Charlotte, North Carolina. All right. Hello. And so I never wanted to write a biography, but then when I started going to these conferences and seeing how powerful it is to be an author, I was like, dog, well, maybe I should write a how-to book. And the thing is, and this is what a lot of people mess up, is a lot of times people think that, if you write a book in the how-to space, it has to be some kind of miraculous, transformation or something huge or something big. But believe it or not, this is one thing I want y'all to type down. Everybody write this down in the chat space. If they'll Google it, they'll pay for it. If they'll Google it, they'll pay for it. And so I found out that like I didn't have to necessarily write a book about, how to make 7 figures in the network marketing industry or wait until I've done that. There were people that wanted to know maybe possibly, why network marketing is such a great industry, or maybe there were some people that wanted to know how to recruit your first 2 people. And so I wrote my very first book called A Vision of Freedom. And since then, I've decided to go into the coaching space. So I've coached individuals from all different network marketing organizations, from 6 to 7 figure earners in multiple companies. I've also coached several coaches, several speakers, individuals who are launching their businesses, showing them how to use a book to actually grow their business. Thank you so much for typing in the chat space. I see you, Steph. That's what I'm talking about. Participation. Yes. If they'll Google it, they'll pay for it. Hey, Zamira. Oh, Lord. I hope I said that right. Did I say that right, Zamira? Zamira. I think that's it. Zamira Davis. Hello. If they'll Google it, they will pay for it. Okay. So anyway, so we're going to get into this. So since I started coaching back in 2014, truth be told, a lot of people thought I lost my mind when I had left the industry of network marketing. They're like, why would you leave an industry that's paying you so well? Because I knew that industry was a stepping stone for me, and I needed to learn what I needed to learn in the industry so that I could help other people that were in the industry understand the power of really positioning themselves as an expert in a particular space, right? Does that make sense? So now I don't do network marketing because it's a conflict of interest with my clients, because I work with so many different organizations, but I do work within companies. In fact, I've got some news that's coming up pretty soon. Zamira, gotcha. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and answer some questions that you guys may have. Specifically, the space that I love helping in is teaching authors how to be profitable, giving you guys tips on promoting and marketing and all types of stuff. And then, of course, if you have questions about being able to, publish and all that good stuff, you can ask that too. By the way, let me see something real quick. By the way, I do have a free masterclass that you guys are welcome to register for. The best thing about it is that it is free. So, my goal is to be able to show 1,000 authors how to generate over $10,000 a month leveraging their book. The biggest mistake authors make is they write books to sell books versus writing a book to sell. So my goal is to show you guys how to properly leverage your book so that you can be able to generate that income, whatever you want that income for. If you want that income to grow your business, to invest back into yourself, or if you want to go spin it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to hook you up. Okay. All right. So the first question that I did see a question over here on Facebook, and Sharon was asking, I'm writing a children's book. Should I self-publish? So I'm glad you asked that question, because I'm going to tell you. So if I could, I'm going to explain to you the difference between having a publishing company and self-publishing. Okay. So there's different types of publishers, and I won't go into all the breakdown of the different types, but when it comes to having a publishing company, you can have like a traditional publishing company where they will sign you. And in many cases, they might sign you for no fee. Some people are looking for publishing companies that will actually pay you some money, or, pay you an upfront check. But what you must understand is, just like the music industry, if you guys know anything about the music industry, you know that in the music industry, when people are given advances, they're given an advance based on the projection of the income that they're going to make. However, when they sign a contract, they're only making a percentage of that, right? So let's just say you get an advance for $10,000 and then you sign this contract that says for every book I sell, I get 10%. So that 10% that you get, that's what trickles down the 10,000. So it's kind of like rape. Okay. I mean, don't listen. I'm just saying. So like my thing is this, and this is where like I would never do a traditional type of publishing deal. And I'm gonna be honest, and this is gonna sound a little weird. I don't even care if I was an A-list celebrity. Like, no, I'm not. Even though people are like, well, you got to go through certain publishing companies because they'll get you in certain stores. The truth is, if somebody goes to a store to buy a book, it's because you told them to go to the store. So just as much as they could go to the store, they can go straight to the internet and order online and have their book shipped to them within a few days. And so for me, I just don't believe in the traditional publishing because you're losing a lot of your money. On top of that, you're losing your leads. I wrote my very first book because I wanted to build leads, okay? I wanted to build leads. I didn't want to build followers. I didn't want to have likes and comments on my Instagram. Let me give you all an example. Like my sister, she posted it already. My sister built up her Instagram to 10,000 followers. And guess what? She got hacked. She can't even log into her Instagram or her Facebook. Both of them. They hacked her Facebook account and shut down her Instagram and her Facebook. And I'm pretty sure, y'all, many people, they go through this every single day, not building their database. And so the reason why I wrote a book was so I could build my database. And if you sign through a publishing company, the only people that are getting your contacts are going to be them. So that's like the traditional style publishing, right? I could go into more talking about that as well. So a lot of times people will go to a publisher for the main reason of getting an upfront check. Well, I got clients right now that are making $5,000 to $10,000 before their book is even coming out. And so if that's the thing, if you're trying to get some upfront money, we could definitely make that happen. I could hook you up. Just check out my free masterclass, right? Now, then you have a publishing company that you may sign to where they help you to get your book published. So let's just say, for example, Sharon, your manuscript is done. And now what you want to do is you want to be able to get it like completely put together, like, reformatted. I don't know if it's going to be an illustration book or something like that. But many times you'll have certain publishing companies that will charge you a fee. Okay. And there's different price points. I've seen publishing companies when your book is done. Now, this is what I'm saying. You come to them with a complete product and then they get it all ready for publishing, right? I've seen companies charge $5,000. I even got a quote for $26,000. The crazy thing about that company for $26,000, this is what they would do. And this is what they'll tell you. They'll say, hey, come on for $26,000. You bring your completed manuscript. We'll even kind of help you with the manuscript a little bit, but not ghostwrite, none of that. Now for $26,000, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Somebody need to be ghostwriting something. Like I shouldn't be writing the whole thing. But there are some companies that'll say, listen, you come through us, we might be able to get you in certain bookstores, right? We'll also make sure you get 100 copies. But on average, y'all, a book is costing most people about $3 to print. So if we take 3 times 100, that's $300, okay? And so you're still paying $26,000 though. So what else are we paying for? And in the contract that I got, they also kept some of your royalties. And so like my thing, again, let's go back to what the world that we're in now. Even though we're in a big digital age and I'm big on like selling your stuff yourself, I still believe in having printed books, but I believe that you should sell your own printed books, right? So that's the second way where you might go through a publishing company because you're like, listen, my manuscript is done. I'm not trying to find an editor and a formatter and a book cover designer, but just make sure that when you sign on with these publishing companies, guys, that you understand everything that, that you're getting. I met a young lady, she paid $10,000 for a publishing company to put her book, get her book published, and they went out of business. And because they filed bankruptcy and they owned the rights to her book, guess what happened to her book? Zip, gone, out of there. I was like, ooh, that is crazy, right? Now, of course, she has her original book, which I'm sure she could probably go back and get edited and stuff, but like she was sitting with this publishing company for a long time. Another challenge is sometimes you might have when you go to a publishing company, you got to find out what's your turnaround. Because some publishing companies, they'll stretch you out for 2 years, Chad. I met a guy on the elevator the other day in my building. And so, I always walk around with my hat on. You know what I'm saying? This is how you advertise yourself. Yes, yes. And so I'm on the elevator and he's like, oh, okay, you do books. He was like, yeah, I signed on to get my book done with Forbes. This is the thing too. Like, we be so addicted to these titles, bro. Like, for real. Like, I understand Forbes is a great name, but you could pay a couple $1,000s to be listed in Forbes versus paying Forbes starting at $15,000 to get your manuscript done. Starting at $15,000, it might be a little bit less, it might be 10 to get your manuscript done. Why don't you just take 1,000 or 2,000 and find you a publicist that can get you an article in Forbes and keep the rest of your money, okay? Because let me tell you, on top of him paying 10, he also he had to write his own book, and it's been 2 years. He said they've been holding on to my book for 2 years. How many of y'all know, especially if you're writing a book in a self-help space, that 2 years is 2 years too long? Because the way that you did something 2 years ago may not be the same way that you would do something today. So you must understand when you're signing on to a publishing company what you're getting. Make sure you know. And then self-publishing. Now, self-publishing, and by the way, when you go to that publishing company, if you do pay them an upfront fee, which I'm not tripping off, like, make sure you own 100% rights to your manuscript. Make sure that you own 100% of your profits. Do not let them upload it. This is what I would recommend. Don't let them upload it to their Amazon. No, we're not doing that. I had a company that was telling me like, oh, okay, yeah, we can get your book done, but we have to upload it to our Amazon. What? No, not doing that, right? And so just make sure that you understand everything that's available. Now, the self-publishing route. Typically, even if you go through a publisher and you make sure that you understand what you're getting, you can still be listed as a self-publisher. It's just you had them to pretty much do like your editing, your book cover, and things of that nature. But I personally recommend the self-publishing route. Again, I know that this is not necessarily what everybody would suggest. You might even have some celebrities that would tell you to go get published. But why would you do that? Why, when you're the one who's responsible for the marketing? You're the one who's responsible for going on tour. Well, the publishing company will set me up with the tour. Get you a publicist, get you an agent, and do it that way. But in this day and age where we are in such a wonderful digital age where you can create ads, you can create your own marketing, you can get yourself out there on your own, I would never sign away my rights to any company. I would never. And I mean, I'm telling you, like, even Amazon, y'all know I talk about this all the time. I don't believe in uploading your books to Amazon. I believe that, well, I mean, you can upload them so you can print them, but even now they force you to actually list it if you want to print through them. And the challenge that I have with that, like one of our students the other day posted that she sold 159 books through Amazon. When I calculated that, because on average, when you sell your book yourself on your own website, even if you order the copies from Amazon and ship it, you're going to sell your book for $20 plus a $4.99 shipping and handling fee. That's the minimum, right? So when you do it yourself, you're going to make about $15 per book. So she had 159 units. I think her income was maybe $500. Well, if you take 159 and you multiply that by 15, anybody calculate that? It's like almost $3,000. So she went from $500 that she got paid in royalties from Amazon. When if she would have just sold it herself, she would have been making, we'll just even round it down to $2,500. And so we just got to understand what's available. And guess what? All 159 of those books that she sold was because of her and her efforts, not because of Amazon. Maybe a couple of few, but for the most part, they're not pushing everyone. There's millions of books, thousands every single day that are going live on Amazon. So, you got to pretty much pay to play. And if you're going to pay to play, you might as well pay to play and get your own ads on your own Facebook and have people go directly to your own website. All right. What other questions do y'all have? Hello, everybody. What questions do you guys have? Type your questions in the chat space. And I don't think I see anything on Instagram. I'm so mad that I cannot see the questions. But child, at least I can stream on all the platforms, child. We just gonna have to make it work. You know what I'm saying? I think what I'm gonna do though is moving forward is I'm just gonna have like a special number that people can text or whatever. Something, I don't know. Or maybe ask your questions in advance. Okay, let's see. All right. So the question is, I have an ebook and a wellness guide. How can I turn that into profit? How can you help? Okay, so let me see something. All right, so DJ Retro, I'm going to come back to your question. Okay, so I'm going to come back to your question as well. So just give me a minute to come back. All right. So ebooks. I don't teach ebooks. And the reason why I don't teach ebooks is, okay, so one thing about me, guys, is I'm very, very principle-based. I'm a principle-based coach. And the reason why I wrote my very first book was because I wanted to use it as a tool. Believe it or not, y'all, we're in an age where even though everything is digital, one of the easiest things still in this world to sell is this thing. But it's bigger than just selling a book so people can read it. It's your business card. It's your edification tool. It's also, for example, like I just spoke at an event the other day. Hopefully you guys plan to leverage your book for speaking, right? So I spoke at an event the other day. Shout out to my girl, Nina Lauren. She had this women's brunch. It was called High Heels and High Places. And so guess what? Not to brag, I'm about to give y'all some tea. I hope y'all taking notes because, ooh, this is about to be good. So how many of y'all have ever been on a panel before? Anybody ever been on a panel, sat on a panel where you're asked questions? Anybody? If you have, just type I have into the chat space. If you've ever been on a panel, let me know. Because I always tell people, first of all, don't put me on a panel because I'm finna tear it down. Can I just add this in? Don't ever dim your light when you're on a panel just because you're on a panel and you don't want to overshadow people. That's a whole nother conversation. So what I did was on the panel, when we first got up there, mind you, when I walk in, there's vendor tables and stuff, right? And so we're offered an opportunity, all the panelists, to get up there and introduce ourselves. By the way, I would always ask, if you are on a panel, ask the person that's having you on the panel, is it okay that we all get a chance to introduce ourselves and I want to offer something? Is that okay? Right? Cool. So I go up there and everybody gets up there and does their introduction. I start off with, asking everybody, how many of y'all been through trauma? I did my spiel. And then I said, listen, I got 10 copies of these books. How many of y'all like free? Everybody raising my hand. Great. I have 10 copies of the book. Everybody take your phone out right now. I want you to go to this website right now. ... And the website, I think, was ilikeafreegift.com or something. Workshopspecial.com. It was something like that. So go to everybody go to workshopspecial.com right now. Everybody pull that up. Once you pull it up, just say, got it. Okay, cool. As you can see on there, the first 10 people who actually purchase a copy of my book, not only are you going to get a chance to get it autographed if you want me to autograph, but I'm also going to give you a free ticket to my event that's coming up. Now, let me tell you the mindset behind that. See, the people that were there all paid to be at this brunch. So they didn't pay what I normally would do for if I would give it away for free. Because sometimes I will give away the books for free. But because they didn't pay that amount, I did the first 10 would also get access to a free event, to an event that I have coming up where I charge $97 for. And then I said, and while we're on the panel, you don't have to wait. Let me show you my sister. My sister, raise your hand. Mind you, I don't have no vendor table. My sister, raise her hand. My sister, she raised her hand. I was like, listen, she got 10 copies. All you need to do is show her the receipt that your thing was purchased, and she will give you a copy of my book. In the process of me doing the panel, people are getting up and walking over to try to hurry up to be one of the first. Why is that very powerful? Because in this world of even digital age, people like to walk away with stuff, right? And so this is why I have books, because I 100% became an author to leverage the book to grow my business. When you have an ebook, it's more difficult, right? I'm not saying ebooks can't work. I'm just saying I don't do that. Now, if you ever hear me reference an ebook, 9 times out of 10, I'm referencing something that's probably 7 pages that I give away. Also, another thing about a book, see, an ebook, it can go to their email. How many of y'all ever got an ebook and didn't read it? All of us. We get ebooks all the time. Don't read them. Now, I ain't saying they're going to necessarily read it, but if your cover is popping and your title, the promise of your book is amazing, guess what's going to happen? They're not just going to throw that book anywhere. They're going to put it somewhere. It's going to be up for people to see. It's going to be a reminder when they get back home and then, oh, that's right, the book. And so that's why you have printed books. They're tools. If you want to speak at an event, you know what a lot of authors do? A lot of authors are focused on trying to sell books. Instead, what you do is you learn how to leverage your book and pitch it. So you pitch your books out to people that are hosting events and things of that nature. So I believe in printed books. Okay, so back to that. So let me get back to what your question was. Oh, hold on. Where'd it go? So how can you turn your book into profit? There are so many ways that your book can become profit. Now, I don't know how your book is constructed. One thing I will tell you guys, one of the things that we teach in our 3-day book camp is that you need to be constantly redirecting the reader. If you guys have read any self-help books recently, any self-help books here, if you've read any self-help books, one thing that you're going to find in those self-help books is they're constantly redirecting you guys to something else, because they know that majority of most people, when they buy these books, will not always read the whole thing. In fact, statistics show that 70% of most people who buy your book don't read past chapter 1 if it's not constructed right. And that's a whole nother conversation. If it's not constructed right, people are not reading your book past chapter 1. So now the question is, okay, so how, if they do read chapter 1 at least, what should we do? We should be immediately redirecting them. You guys have seen it. You've read self-help books and they say, hey, go download my PDF or go do this, right? And so you're redirecting them. Now, this is the thing I want you guys to be thinking about. As a result of someone reading my book, what is the next step for them? So if somebody buys, and I'm gonna get to you on the question about the guide, because that's a whole nother tea. Okay, matter of fact, let me show you something real quick. Where is that? Oh Lord, I don't see it. Where is it? Where is my workbook, child? Oh man. Hold on one sec, y'all. Hold on. Dang, where did I put it at? It was. Oh, there it is. I was about to say. Hold on, here it comes. Okay, so I'm about to show you about a guide, right? This right here. Okay, so now, as a result of someone reading this book, what is the next step for the reader? Many authors never think about this. They never think about this, y'all. They never think about, okay, when they read the book, they're going to want to know something, what to do or how to do it, or maybe some one-on-one or coaching. You got to think beyond the book, okay? And so you need to know what that looks like. And so one of the things that we teach is we teach for you to build what I like to call a success funnel, okay? In your success funnel, you have 4 main items, all right? This allows you to have more free time than work time, right? And it makes it easier for you to understand what to offer so that you're not like overwhelmed with a whole lot of stuff. And so when somebody's reading my book, my intention is for them to fall into the next step. The next step for me is when somebody connects with me is my 5K and 5-day challenge. So it's currently going on right now. We have individuals who are enrolled into the 5K and 5-day challenge, where the goal is to help you to get to $5,000 in 5 days by following the 5-day steps, right? So what would be your next step? Would your next step be like a one-on-one strategy session call? Maybe your next step is a dinner. I used to do so many different things, guys. And this is the thing, like a lot of times people don't want to get into the coaching space because like, I don't know if I want to do one-on-one, or I don't know if you don't have to necessarily even be a coach. You could do retreats, you could do dinners and functions, and you got to think about what is the next step. And let me just add this. People don't buy self-help books because they want to read them. People buy self-help books because they want the promise it makes. The better the promise, the more people will buy. And I'm with you, Daphne. I love holding a book too. I buy ebooks, but my attention span is so bad. It won't let me really, I'd rather flip through a book and highlight and underline and take notes. So that's a whole nother conversation. Now let's talk about guides. So I used to have a workbook that I used to sell. So this is one of my old workbooks, right? Show Your Success. And in this workbook, y'all, by the way, I used to teach too much. I had too many courses. I used to have, as you can see, I had web design, I had public speaking, how to write a book. These are all things that I know how to teach. And I decided, because it was like I was just working way too hard, I decided to narrow it down to just the books. But what happens is a lot of people that get plugged into our Book Profits Club monthly membership, they get all the other stuff with it, right? So they get the public speaking training, they get the social media training, but I am focusing on one thing, kind of like Mark Zuckerberg. He focused on Facebook. Oprah Winfrey focused on broadcasting. Jeff Bezos focused on Amazon, right? Elon Musk focused on the Tesla. But then once you build that trust into the marketplace, you can then offer other things. Does that make sense? And so instead of confusing the marketplace with all these different things that I sell, I focused on the queen of book profiting. But anyways, I used to sell this workbook, and I would sell this workbook for $100. So I would do like a workshop. I leverage my book so that people would, get me on the news. I leverage my book so that people want to interview me for podcasts and stuff. I leverage my book when I'm on a panel or if somebody invites me to be a keynote speaker. I have my book in my hand because back to what I was saying, at the brunch, I was the only speaker. I don't know about everybody in the vendor tables, but I know for a fact I was the only speaker that walked away having sold. I think we did it at 10 books. I was the only speaker. So that means I made $200. Quick little 200. I ain't mad, right? Nice little lunch. Also, I don't know how many vendors were able to do that, right? And so, anywho, so how you sell a guide? You make the guide be kind of like the training portion of your course. So what I would do is for this workbook journal that I used to sell, it was for $100. It would also come with a series of video trainings where I would teach you how to do each section. So that's another way of how you can actually make money from it. But you can really leverage your book to make money in so many different ways. You could partner with other people and, maybe they have a program that you can use the guide in conjunction with their program and add it to their packages. It's just so much that you can do. All right, let's see. Next question. Is this good? If this is good, let me know. Let me know. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, it's a lot of questions. Okay. Do you teach how to outline or flesh out your idea? So for those of you, if you want to know, do I teach how to outline the manuscripts, right? Absolutely. We definitely teach you how to outline it. And when we have our 3-day boot camp, so we have 3 main programs. Okay. The first program is my 5K and 5-day challenge. That's where we want to help you to generate $5,000 in 5 days or less. Okay. And when I tell you guys, people that they're getting this, they're making, y'all, it's so easy to do. Listen, when people tell me that they don't have any money, I'm like, bro, who are you connected to? Because you should never, listen, if you got the right book, you should never be broke. Or even the right book idea, okay? You should never be broke. And by the way, the right book idea is not what you think. The right book idea right now for some of us could be how to get new friends in a new city. Maybe you're very outgoing. Do we got any extroverts here? You know how to go and connect and communicate? There's literally someone right now Googling how. Let me Google it real quick, just so y'all know. Because this is the challenge that we have a lot of us when we get into this space. We are duplicating what everybody else is talking about. And it's very difficult to stand out and make yourself niched. I just Googled how to make friends. I found listen, if somebody up here that's watching this broadcast don't decide to become a friendship coach, or help people to have better friends. I just looked it up on Google. 4.1 billion. 4.1 billion. But see, this is the thing. It's very easy to just fall in line and do what everybody else is doing. But do you understand what I'm saying when I say 4.1? Everybody else is doing, it's just not what you see. Right now, there's 4.1 billion results of people that are looking on how to make friends. And so you write a book about how to make friends in a new city. And so I teach people when they have moved to new cities, how to be able to build strong, long-lasting friendships. And you create a book and you create a course and you create a networking event where people come for friendship events and stuff like that. Just make it fun. 4 items, right? So anyways, the outline. So now that you know what you want your book to be about based on the transformation that you want to provide, then what I recommend is 7 or 10 chapters. Okay. Because we live in a day now, nowadays, especially if you're doing printed books, you don't want your books to be 300 pages. Like nobody's reading. No shade, no tea. People don't want to read 300-page books no more, okay? People barely want to read a paragraph in your Instagram post, okay? If you got too many characters in your Instagram post, child, they don't want to read it. So you think they want to read a 300-page book? No. And so some people, and I always got a couple people that jump on my lives and be like, well, I like to read. We just talk about, you one of the few. I'm talking about the majority, okay? And the majority wants something that they can read straight to the point, help me out. So I always say 7 or 10. Reason why is because 7 and 10 are 2 of the most recognizable numbers. People are comfortable with those numbers. People are not intimidated by those numbers. Generally, if you're going to have a book that's 7 or 10 chapters, you're going to have about a 100 to 150 page book. If you look at my book, the 10K book right here, you see, not a super thick book, not super thin. It's 128 pages. So you're going to have about 100 to 150 page book. You really want people to be in a space where they can say, man, I read your book in a day, or I read your book in 2 days, right? That's where you want people to be, because guess what? You write a book to write another book. When you figure out what your space is going to be, what your niche is going to be in, you don't just sit on that book, because guess what? The best customers to have is one who's already a customer. And what I have come to find is that when people have bought my first book and they liked it, they buy the second one, and then they buy the third. And then maybe they're not yet ready to enroll into my different programs, but they want to keep buying the books until they can get to the space of where they can. So I'm always going to keep that going. Yes, yes. The second program that I have is my 3-day boot camp. In fact, enrollment for the boot camp does end next week. Okay. Enrollment does end next week. So if you want to be able to get your book done in our boot camp, we literally help you from scratch. We help you to get 80% of your book done in 3 days or less. But on top of that, this is the thing. A lot of people think that they're coming to my boot camp to write a book. We literally help you to structure your whole business. Like, we create your 4 items in your success funnel. We also identify who is your audience. We identify their characteristics. I talk to you about how to be able to find them, how to leverage, how to build your income. We have a 90-day game plan. We also edit your manuscript. We format your manuscript. We create your cover. We also do the capture page for you so that you can pre-sell. We teach you how to get sponsors. We literally, I mean, when I tell you, there's a program that's out there that doesn't do the pre part, as far as like helping you to structure your book for your business. They don't do none of that. They do the editing and the formatting of the cover, but they charge $20,000 if you pay in full, or $25,000. We do not charge that. And you keep 100% of your rights. They also, once you pay them $20,000, you got to order your books through them, and they charging you nominal fees. So they're making more money off of the sale of the book. And if somebody buys the book through the website, they also get royalties. So I just want y'all to understand what you're getting. And then the third thing we have is our Book Profits Club, which is for people who are already authors. So if you've already written your book and you want to know more techniques about promoting, profiting, and performance, you got to pull in. We search events that are taking place in your city when you're an elite member. We also have top media list that you can pitch yourself with the producers and everything. We even have over 1,000 plus podcasts in different categories that you can picture. Like, we literally light it up. Okay. We got our mastermind, our quarterly mastermind. It's virtual. That's coming up next month. We'll be meeting virtually, and we're going to go to the metaverse because it's all about getting into technology. Not a lot of coaches are really pushing their clients to get into the metaverse, but we will be in the metaverse, networking and connecting. But yeah, we have a ton of stuff. So anyways, just wanted to answer that. All right, let's see. So yes, we definitely do help with the outline. All right. Audrey, let me see. I see there's so many other questions. Is Audrey still here, or Lenitra? Is Lenitra still here? I'm not answering if they're not still here. First, but or is it Queenie or Quinny? Zamira. Girl, what am I looking at? Hold up. Oh no, that's not Zamira. That's Queenie. So Queenie, is Queenie still here? Who's here? Okay, Lenitra is still here. So let me answer Lenitra, and then I'll answer Queenie if you're still here. Cause y'all know how people do, chat. They come in on your live and then they leave, girl. What is the average budget? What is the average budget to have when getting your book published? So I will say, if you're going to be doing it by yourself, that means you're not going to get assistance like with a coach. You know, I actually help individuals with constructing their book and putting it all together, as well as creating a game plan behind it and all that stuff. It's a bit different, you know what I'm saying? But I will say, at minimum, if you're going to find your own editors, I would highly recommend, if you're going to find your own, you need to have at least 2, with a budget of at least $1,000 per editor. It just depends on your word. So on average, I would say a good word count is going to be about 15 to 20,000 words, right? So you're going to want to have, for good editors. Now, some people are going to get on here and say, well, you can find an editor for the low. Yeah, you can. But this is one thing I want you to understand. If you don't know your editors, and if you don't know their style, it can cost you a lot, or it can cost you a lot of challenges. So what I typically do, once my manuscript is done, I then get my editor, right? Now, also, you're going to have a book cover. I'm going to give you a website that I could recommend for you guys. For those of you, if you're new to the space of getting your books done. And the reason why this was the first company that I used to get my cover. Let me tell you why I like them. Okay. Thank you very much. The reason why I like this company is because you can put your book idea out there and you'll have several people bidding to win your contract. But the way that they bid is they bid by doing different covers. Okay. And so why I like that is because instead of going to just like Fiverr or Upwork to hire one designer and you don't know what they're going to come up with, you end up having like 20, 30 designs, 40 designs from people that are looking to win the cover from you. So to me, that's powerful. Now you're going to pay about $250 to $300. But for those of you guys who are brand new in the space, that's what I would recommend. Because again, you want to be able to have multiple ideas, right? Now, on top of that, it's very important that if you're going to have your cover designed before it's edited, you still got to make sure you have that person there, because once the manuscript is formatted, guys, you got to get your cover like finished. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people go hire someone on Fiverr for a one-time deal and they don't send you the PSD. They don't send you the editable version and it's not fully finished. Because when when you type your manuscript in a computer, you type it on 8.5 by 11. When you have to get it printed, it's going to be resized to 6 by 9 or 5.5 by 8.5 or 5 by 8. So when you resize the manuscript, that means you have to also make sure you account for the spinal size and things of that nature, right? So the first thing you're going to do, you may get your cover designed, okay? 99designs.com, telling you, the bomb. Yeah, okay. Unless you come to somebody like me, because I'm going to make sure not only is your title popping, because that's one of the things we also go over your title, make sure that it's designed to draw the attention. I'm going to tell you this, y'all, for those of you who are authors, the way that you know if your book need to be redone or the title need to be redone, just go take it somewhere and then like leave it and see if people pick it up and ask you, what is this about? Because if somebody asks you, what is this book about? We ain't do it right. We got to retitle it. Don't get emotional about your titles. Get emotional about people actually buying the book and then wanting to read it. Just because someone buys it, they might be your friend or family member too. They might not read it. You want people to buy it and want to read it based on the promise. Now, the second thing that you're going to do is get your manuscript formatted. Okay. So it's not really a real technical term, but I call it a formatter. Okay. So I get someone first to edit. I don't have someone edit and format together, because if you go back and you want to make some changes after your manuscript has been resized and they've added the table of contents and page numbers, it's a headache. So don't get nobody to like format it. In fact, you don't format it. That's another thing. A lot of times people will send us, I don't publish manuscripts. So we only do 3-day boot camp. So like if somebody's manuscript is already done and they want me to do it, no, because I already know that 90% of this is no disrespect, y'all. So please don't take this the wrong way. But 90% of most people who write their books on their own, they don't write them right. So I would feel as a coach, for me to just let somebody put a book out there that I know is not going to sell, I'm just not going to do it. Does that make sense, y'all? I'm just saying, like, I'd rather not. So, anywho, back to what I was stating. So, 90% of most people, they do not write their books right. I'm telling you, they just don't. They don't. Okay, so when you go and get your formatter, the formatter, what they're going to do is they're going to resize your manuscript for print based on what you want. If you want a 6 by 9 book or a 5.5 by 8.5, they're going to add your table of contents. They're going to add your page numbers, like where your book has the title and stuff like that at the top. You see this right here at the top? That's what your formatter is going to do, all of that nice, neat stuff. Okay. So your formatter is going to, make sure it looks good. Like one of the things I had my formatter do is I also had them start off each chapter like this with a book cover. Like your formatter finishes the book. Okay. So I have a separate person to do that. Now for a good formatter, they typically do not need to be American. Your editor though, do not get no editor in nobody else country. They need to be from the United States or wherever you from. Okay. And they need to be from the United States. Okay, y'all. So people be coming in my chat trying to give advice. Listen to me. Okay. So don't be taking advice from nobody else if it's not their chat. I can't stand when people do that, come into my live and be trying to give people advice. Don't do that. Okay. You can ask your questions, But if you want to do a live and be the expert, you go ahead and do your live and be the expert. But please do not be confusing my audience with your 2 cents. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, back to what I was saying. I'm very serious about that, y'all, because people be out here listening to so many people. This is the problem that we have. We have a challenge with being focused. And we listen to all these different advices, especially for people who ain't even doing nothing in that space or making no money. And so I'm just saying, okay, back to what I was saying. So threw me off. Formatting. So you get your manuscript formatted. Typically, when you're getting an editor, they need to be from the country that you are from so they can understand your vernacular. Another thing, too, about my editing is that I tell my editor, don't change my tonality. I don't need my book to be like perfect English. In my book, if I want it to say child please, it say child please and not child please. I know how to talk, but that's how I talk. I talk child please, right? I know you didn't, not didn't, did it, right? So my editor knows my vernacular, right? So I make sure keep my book in my tonality. If I be like, oh, no, you didn't, I want you to keep that. Do not remove them O's, right? So make sure that you know that, okay? The other thing when it comes to your formatters, though, because they don't necessarily need to know how to edit, they can be from another place. Now, when you get your manuscript this is a lot. And this is why people will go to a publishing company, because many times I've had people who've done this. They're like, I'm just going to try to do it myself. And you end up getting an editor, and you want to get an editor that will send you your edits with markup on, right? And it's just like, it's a lot. And then you're like, okay, I don't know how to tell them how to format it. You see what I'm saying? So it's just what you want to decide if you want to go to somebody else and save yourself time or money, right? So anyway, so back to what we were saying. So now with the formatting, typically I recommend have about a budget of $200 to $250, okay? Make sure that you tell them exactly what you want. If you have like a book that you like the way the chapter starts, you know what I'm saying? Because all books have different ways of how they start. Then you want to let them know, okay? And so you're going to find a formatter. And now that's if you're doing black and white. Now, for those of you who want to have a book that's formatted with like colors and stuff, that goes up, okay? Because it's a lot more work to do colors on each pages and things like that. But starting on a black and white, $250 is a good budget, okay? The next thing, once it is formatted, you want to make sure they deliver it to you in PDF. Okay. Also, my formatter, he delivers it in Adobe InDesign and PDF. So the InDesign allows us, if we need to make some minor updates, we can. But a lot of times, like if somebody has a whole new thing they want to add in, we end up having to reformat it. Okay. So that's why I'm always telling people, make sure before you send your manuscript to formatting that everything is complete, that everything you want on there is absolutely done. Okay. If we're talking about a budget, so what is that? $250 for your book, 25, 3,000. Then you're going to have to upload it. So if you want to hire someone to do that for you, cool. So that's about $3,000-$4,000 if you're doing it 100% on your own. Okay. That's what I would recommend. Now, how do you raise the capital for that? Pre-sale. That's what we teach in the 5K to 5 days, right? So in the 5K to 5 days, we literally teach you how to pre-sell your book or resell. You might already have your book that's out and you didn't do any selling. And by the way, it is a disservice when you don't pre-sell your book or you don't give people the opportunity to find out about your book, because these people can become ambassadors. So that's one of the things I would recommend. About $3,000 to $4,000 is a good budget if you're self-publishing, okay? Now, graphics, whoo, child, that's a whole other conversation. Let me try to get to my other girl. So my other girl, I'm going to try to get back to you. Let's see. I think Quinn. Okay, did I answer Quinn's question? I need to copy these and just like paste them down so I can see where the questions are, child. Oh, how do you get started with your book when this is your first book? So I'm going to tell you, Quinn, I'm so glad you asked that question, because when I decided to write my very first book, I'm going to be honest, I had already invested a lot of money into coaching on writing a book, but I never invested in, but this is the funny thing. I invested in coaching on writing a book, but it was for public domains, right? Public domain is a book that has been out after a certain number of years. And once a book has been published for a certain number of years, it becomes public domain. That means you can actually reuse it, repurpose it, right? So that's what I did. I just went in and repurposed the book. However, I didn't like that book. Let me see. I think I got a copy. Let me show y'all my first book. Lord Jesus. Child, this book is a mess. It's so ugly. This cover is so ugly, child. Look at this. Ooh, child. Don't tell nobody. The golden rule for making money. Hold on. And look at me on the back. Look at this long paragraph, everything. Just a mess. You see all of that? That is so long. So this is stuff I had to learn. First of all, you do not put no long tail paragraph on the back of your manuscript. Don't nobody want to read all of that. Okay. The purpose of the back is to hit them real quick with some bullet points, what the book is about, how it's going to help them, blah, 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 blah. That's what you want to do. Anyways, so that was my first book. I spent $10,000 to learn how to write this book. And actually it was I spent $10,000 to learn how to write this as well as how to sell in front of a room, right? It was a combination program. But anywho, I decided that it was time for me to write my own book. And I'm going to tell you when. So I was sitting down with someone, this guy, I was doing lunch with him. I had already hit one of the top levels of my network marketing company. And when I told him I was in network marketing, child, he was a lawyer. No shade, no tea lawyers, but y'all do not be trying to hear nothing about no network marketing, honey. He was like acting real funny. So I was like, oh, he don't respect me. So I was like, I gotta write a book so I can gain respect, right? So that's when I wrote my first book. So this is one thing I will tell you. Please outline your book, okay? I think one of the things that helped me so much is because that's what I did first. Even though I didn't really know what the hell I was doing, I just know that I like to plan stuff. So, I know that those that fail to plan to fail. Now, I'm going to be honest. In my very first book, I had too many chapters, okay? Now I've learned to consolidate it down to 7 or 10. If you create a how-to book, it's easy because all you got to do is figure out your 7 steps or 7 tips, 7 secrets. By the way, for those of you who are like, but I want to write a story about my life, I promise you guys, if I could be very honest here, the best time to write your life story is when you walk into a room of 5,000 people and literally every single person knows who you are because you're like the main attraction. Believe it or not, most people don't want to read a biography until that person is kind of already known. It's weird, right? Now, I'm not saying that you can't write a fictional type story for those of you who love reading fictional books and things like that, but I'm specifically talking about a biography. But the cool thing about when you do a how-to instructional based book is that you can actually incorporate your story in the chapters. So let's just say, for example, and I don't know, hopefully, are you still here, Queen? Who's this for? Hold on, if I see her. Oh, Queenie, are you still here? So tell me, what kind of book do you want to write about? Hey, Queen Brooklyn. Hey, boo. It's my boo right there. We're going to Jamaica. When are we going? I feel like it's next week, but I feel like it's so far. I don't know why it seems like it's so long until we go to Jamaica, girl. I can't wait. Okay, Queenie. So if you want to, let me know what kind of book you want to write, right? Now, if I can give you guys some examples. So this is the deal. Do we have any non-authors outside of Queenie here? Do we have any non-authors? And I'm sure I'm pronouncing your name wrong, girl. I'm so sorry. If you want to put the phonetics, let me know. If we have any non-authors that are writing, let me tell you the easiest way to figure out what to write about. Daphne's in the YouTube typing notes. Thank you, Daphne. I appreciate you. Easiest way to figure out what to write about. So I'll give you an example of a client that I worked with, right? Okay, Lenitra too. Okay, Zamira. Okay, okay, future authors in the house. Okay, I want you to think about your life. So I had a young lady. She was like, well, I want to write a book about overcoming trauma, right? And the challenge with that, Zebby's in the house. Zebby's a first-time writer. Okay. Now, if you don't have, this is specifically if you don't even have a business or any of that. And by the way, even if you do have a business, there's still ways that you can connect certain things of your life to get people to, like, you can earn trust with people because they can relate to your story, right? And there's a way to position it, right? So let's just say you're still, and you want to figure out what you want to do. Well, first of all, I want y'all to think about what are some of the things that you like doing. One thing, for my ladies, maybe you want to put together a brunch. Right? So you say, okay, I want to put together a brunch and I want to figure out a way that I can leverage a book to help me pack out a brunch. Let's say your brunch, the tickets are going to be, if you live here in Atlanta, child, VIP is a deal. So let's just say your tickets are $97 for the brunch, up to $297 for VIP. Your intention is to make $10,000. So now you figure, okay, how many tickets do I need to sell on top of the, sponsorships and everything in order to generate $10,000 from this brunch? So that's the first part. But now how can I write a book that can connect to this brunch? Like, what does this book have to do? So I was talking to one of my clients and she said, Taria, I want to help anybody overcome trauma. How can I want to help them overcome trauma? I said, well, this is the thing. And everybody in the chat, go ahead and type number one. Type 1 if you've ever experienced trauma. So those of you watching on YouTube, everybody watching on Facebook, if you're watching on LinkedIn, I see Facebook popping. Hello, Brittany, Miles, Sharon, Jacqueline. Those of you watching on LinkedIn, we're streaming all over the place right now. We're on multiple platforms at one time. So if you've ever experienced trauma, type 1 in the chat. If you've ever experienced trauma, type 1 in the chat. Real quick. Type 1, type 1, type 1. The truth is, every single one of us have experienced some sort of a trauma. Period. And the trauma may be different based on who the person is. Trauma, like you lost a friend. I mean, I recently lost a friend to cancer. That was very traumatic to me. I've had my heart broken. That's traumatic. I've lost a job. I got fired from a job one time. That was traumatic. I remember when my school, because I went to an HBCU, Hampton University, whoop, whoop. But if you've been to an HBCU, the first thing they mess up is your financial aid. And one year I couldn't go back to school because financial aid didn't kick in. Traumatic. You stubbed your toe this morning. That's traumatic. And so what trauma? And so the challenge that many people have is identifying and specifically niching down what it is that they want to talk about. The trauma of someone. So she went to telling me her story. She was telling me that she lost her mom at a young age, lost her father at a young age, and then, she started acting out. And so between losing her parents and acting out, we realized that the trauma started when she lost her parents. And I don't know, and I've talked about this a lot, but I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's called child abandonment. God damn it. This goddamn fruit fly. Child abandonment. Excuse me, y'all, for cussing in y'all ear. Okay, HU's in the house. Anybody ever heard of child abandonment? And I want to challenge you guys to go and look it up when we get off of here. There are organizations for men and women who have experienced child abandonment. There are people right now who are having trauma or having challenges with building real relationships because they feel that they will be abandoned because when they were children, their parents left them at a young age, whether it was through death or through jail or through drugs or whatever it is. There's literally people right now making 6 and 7 figures helping men and women overcome childhood abandonment. The steps that you must take, though, to overcome the child abandonment, though, which is a trauma, are not the same steps that you need to overcome where you just went to the doctor and the doctor told you that if you don't lose 50 pounds, you are going to put yourself at risk of being alive. The steps that the person has to take to overcome being abandoned are not the same steps that a person has to take to lose weight so they can live. And so this is the challenge that people have when we come into this information space. We don't know how to properly identify what we do. Are y'all with me? So going back to Queenie, the first thing I would think about is what is it that people come to you for without all the time? Like, truth be told, if I wanted to, I could start a whole business teaching individuals how to broadcast like a pro. I have a friend who paid me money to come and set up her studio. Now, I love gadgets, but teaching people gadgets is not necessarily my favorite thing to do. Because technology, I'm honestly, y'all, technology is very hard to teach because if you don't have a passion for it, it's like it goes in one ear and out the other. So it's not something that I want to do. I just love doing it, right? I love technology. I like buying gadgets, right? Could I build a business off of that? Absolutely. If there is someone who loves teaching that, you could build a whole 6 and 7 figure. You could have people that have money. They got money. My friend, she's a millionaire. And she's like, please, can you come set this up? I could easily charge $10,000. That's a whole business. I teach high level professionals how to also look high level by setting up their streaming broadcast. So the key here is figuring out what it is that you like to do, what it is that people come to you for. Because you know what? We live in a day right now where if somebody is going to ask you for advice for something or ask your help in the space, that literally people will pay for it. Or there is a way that you can make money for that. Okay? But listening ear for what? So I want you to think about it like this, Queenie. Note take this. Because it's not just a listening ear. People probably come to you for something specific. But what about this? Let me show you how to create a business with that. I have a whole group called Release and Restore where all we do is allow people to release what they're going through. Do you know that most people have never been taught how to handle other people's problems? We damn near don't know how to handle our own. So handling someone else's problems, we don't know how to do that as well, right? What if you taught people how to listen? Teach people how to listen so that in listening, you end up with better results. That is a whole skill set. People don't even understand how God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. But most of us, when we're listening, we're not really listening to listen. We're listening to respond. So you could teach people how to build better relationships through listening. You see what I'm saying? So that could be something you could create a book off of that. And then in your book where you're teaching people about building better relationships through listening, you're telling stories about how you had a sister friend, you had a brother friend that came and talked to you about this and this. And all you did was listen. You'd be like, I didn't even tell them to do nothing. I just listened. And then they went off and figured it out on their own. And so that's an example, right? I got to get ready to wrap up pretty soon, y'all. I'm going to give y'all about another 15 minutes. But that is how you do. By the way, guys, register for my free masterclass, 10kbook.com. You can also, when you go there, it's free. The training is amazing. When you go there to 10kbook.com, you'll also get the opportunity where you can order some of my books. Okay. You can order some of my books. So definitely, if you feel that this was a great training, please bless your sister and support a sister by getting a copy of the book. But don't just support it, but read it because it's definitely changing lives. I know what I'm talking about here. I'm a G with this. All right. Okay. Let's see. I could try to answer some more questions on, I have one over here on Facebook. Let me see. Brittany, she says, I'm writing a series of children's book. The script is finished and I found an illustrator on Fiverr who is working on illustrations for one book. Should I pre-sell books or just wait to get it finished? I'm stuck on what's the next process. Will your masterclass help with this? So now this is the thing. I do charge for my services. So you're only going to get a limited amount of help with the free stuff. So of course you definitely got to put your money where your mouth is, right? Somebody told me the other day, go message me talking about, you always asking for money. I said, Lord Jesus. I do a lot of training as well. I do a lot of free game, but this is my business. My business is in the space of helping you to be profitable. So of course there is an investment if you really, really want to get to the bag, right? But let me just first say this. As soon as you guys think of an idea about a book, you should start pre-selling. Today, I've already pre-sold, I don't know, maybe without even trying, about 5-6 books. I typically, if I'm going hard, I will sell my 50 books quickly, right? 5-6 books without trying. And this is for a book that's coming out in the fall. I know people be crazy. I'd be like, I don't know. People... About you always selling. I'm like, oh, you clearly must not plug into like all my free training. I have tons and tons of YouTube videos, right? So anyways, back to what I was saying. So you pre-sell no, you don't need a graphic, baby. Matter of fact, don't even pre-sell with the graphic, the cover. Okay, this is why y'all need to be a part of the 5K in 5-day challenge. We have individuals right now that are following my training. If you go and find, well, I didn't post it on my business page, but if you can find my Facebook page that has me with the green outfit on, you'll see how I put a post up the other day. And it's just a simple graphic. I'm excited to announce I have a book coming out. Who wants to be in it for free? Now, for children's books, it can be a little bit different. There's a different way, but you can still acknowledge them in your manuscript, okay? As soon as you think of the idea of the book, you should start pre-selling. Y'all stop being afraid to put the book out there. Now, this is the thing. I see a lot of people that offer pre-sales, but let me tell you why pre-sales don't typically work for people. Because you're not offering people an incentive to buy something early. We live in a microwave society. So no, don't nobody want to buy no book if I'm not going to get it right away unless you're offering something else. Does that make sense? So if you want someone to take advantage of pre-ordering your book, you got to give them an incentive of why they should pre-order. You got to give them a reason why they should order your book before the book is actually ready. And so that is why we offer opportunities to mention people in the book. But maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to offer them a free training. So one of the things that I did, I'm actually pre-selling a book. It's a collaboration book that we're doing. It's a book on mental health. Okay. I'm going to participate in this particular. I do collaboration projects all the time for individuals that have a sphere of influence and they want to help. They want us to manage a project. So we do that all the time. And so we're doing one on mental health. And I love talking about the topic of mental health. I don't want to be in the space of coaching in that, but I feel that as a woman who has battled it and like it's something that you always will go through, that's life. I talk about it, right? So anyway, so the mental health book. So what I did was I said, listen, if you pre-order a copy of my mental health book, I'm also going to give you a copy of my brand new planner that's coming out for authors, speakers, and coaches. I am working on a new planner for authors, speakers, and coaches. So they'll get a copy of that. And they get a free VIP ticket. Listen, y'all, a free VIP ticket to the conference. Now, I know you didn't ask me this, but let me give you the tea. I don't do book launches. I don't do book tours. I tried it one time, and it was worse. I wish I would. You do not have to do book tours anymore. It's $20. People don't need convincing for them to buy the book, right? Remember, the goal of the book is to provide them with the next step. And so what I would rather do is get as many people to purchase the book to get a VIP ticket, and it comes with like some VIP training or whatever, right? And then I do a full conference. We do a full-blown conference where we'll have guest speakers and sponsors and all types of stuff, right? And so I offer a VIP ticket for individuals to be able to come to the conference. So now it's an incentive. They like, oh, shoot, let me go ahead and get the pre-order so I can get the VIP ticket as well as get included in the manuscript. So you want to pre-sell ASAP. Now, my masterclass, what it will do for you, Brittany, is it's going to get you on the path of understanding how to turn your book into multiple streams of income, because I talk about that. Also, guys, do you know that 80% of most authors never sell 250 copies of their book? And I plan to change that. And typically those 250 copies are sold during the launch of the book. I plan to change that. We're going to change that statistic, okay? So the goal is that we're not just selling 250 for the one time only, that you're selling those copies every single month. My very first book, A Vision of Freedom, came out in 2012, still sells today. Hello, right? We want you to keep selling, but we got to create a game plan. We cannot bank on making $10,000 a month with books. Is it safe to say that one of the top selling biographies of our time was First Lady Michelle Obama? Is it safe to say that, everybody? Now, she could walk into the room. Like, she's the type of person, it was time for her to write a story, because when First Lady Michelle Obama walked, so we still call her First Lady, because she's always going to be the First Lady, right? If she was to walk into the room where you're sitting at right now, what would you do? Your jaw would drop. That's when you write your book. When you be like, oh, shoot, look who it is. Right? But is it safe to say, yes, she had one of the top selling biographies ever. But is it also safe to say that it is not selling like it did when it first came out? See, we're not creating this book for it to be a one-time seller. We want it to be an all-time seller. So we create strategy behind that. Children's books. Let me just add this one other thing, Brittany. And by the way, anybody that is writing children's books, I'm not a children's book publisher, but I do know someone who has written books for children, not necessarily illustrations, but she's written books for younger children on personal development, empowerment. And she's out here getting to the bag, y'all. The YMCA is dropping her major 5-figure checks. She's getting schools that are buying 200, 300 copies at a time. So if you guys are in the children's book space, that's not my expertise, but I can plug you into someone who is fire with it, okay? So what you'll need to do, the easiest way, I would say, just hit me on Instagram. Hit me in the DMs on Instagram, which is Vision Avant, because we're streaming everywhere. If you want me to get to you the fastest, that's where you want to message me, okay? By the way, y'all, can Brittany, I'm going to just say what she said, because this is what I get from a lot of people. And I appreciate you for being very transparent and honest, because this is the truth. And this is why people don't push their pre-sales. They said, this is what I'm struggling with. I don't think parents will buy the book, even though I know they need it. Now, this is the thing. Well, number one, this is a deep conversation. Dang, you're going to get me off track. I said I was going to be done in 15 minutes. I got to keep up. I got to stay on here just a little bit longer. Okay. Y'all, this is important that you said that. Why do many authors never sell? Because they write about what they want to write about, not what the reader wants to read about. Y'all, let me tell you something when it comes to business. People don't buy what they need. They only buy what they want. Now, if you can figure out a way to give them what they want and at the same time give them what they need to, that's when it works. For example, you selling meal plans that ain't got no taste, they're not buying it because they need it. They're buying it because they want a sexy body for when they about to go on this trip. They buying the food for what they want, not necessarily what they need. Nobody wants to eat tasteless, nasty food for the sake of eating tasteless, nasty food, right? When someone goes, let's say, for example, to a massage therapist, I know me, I don't like deep tissue. Now, I know some people who like it. I don't know why. Ooh. I had this one lady do deep tissue on me last, like, couple weeks ago. I thought she was trying to kill me. I will never go to this lady again. I was like, let me just see. I was like, ma'am, she talking about relax. I can't relax. You trying to kill me. So she was giving me what I needed. I didn't want that. I wanted what I wanted. And so when it comes to even books, y'all, why will a parent buy a book for kids? Because there's a challenge that the kid is dealing with. What are some of the things that children are dealing with right now? Bullying. They might write a book about how to fight your bully without fighting him, right? See, yeah, some of y'all like deep tissue. I don't know how y'all do deep tissue. I said this woman is trying to kill me, literally. I think she is doing this on purpose. I don't know. So anyways, what else are parents wanting their kids help with? Parents will buy books for their kids to help them to maybe build their confidence. Maybe they're lacking confidence in school and they're not participating because they don't know. Parents will buy books for their kids because they want their kids to do better in school, like learning their addition and stuff. I got one young lady who teaches kids how to get scholarships. So parents will invest into that, right? So you must always remember, especially even in the children's book world, what are some of the issues that kids are facing and how can you connect directly to it? Because at the end of the day, people don't buy what they need. People buy what they want. All right. Okay. Let me see. Your graphics question. What was your graphics question, love? Ask me again. Yeah, y'all pull up. So go to 10K book. That's a free. Look, when people be like, is your masterclass going to help me? It's free. Y'all been watching this live for how long? Just sign up. If you don't like it, get your money back. It's free. And then if you decide you want to register or get on the phone with myself or one of my team members, you can. But the worst thing that will happen is that you will spend about 20 minutes or so, 20, 30 minutes learning some new information. Because every time I open my mouth, my goal is to make sure that when I open my mouth and give good value. What was the question on the graphics? Yeah, how to deal with peer pressure. That's a good one. See, the parents gonna buy what they want, not what they need. And then just make sure that they get what they need with what they want. You want to get fined? You got to lose some weight. Sorry, y'all. Somebody called my phone. You want to get fined? You got to lose some weight. You want to remove that pain? You got to go to the chiropractor. I don't know what the question is. What was the question? Oh, graphics. Girl, I forgot all about that one. Okay, so this is the thing about graphics. It really depends. What I will tell you is, I don't know what kind of graphics, if it's pictures or if it's graphics like diagrams and things like that, then you might have to hire someone. So I know that some of you guys like using services like Fiverr. Me personally, for a situation like that where you may need to go in and make edits, I probably wouldn't use Fiverr because, Fiverr literally is like a one-offer type of deal. So you might go to Upwork to find someone that can help you. I'll help you to create graphics, right? Now, if you're going to be using pictures, right, that's been taken with a camera, it needs to be high resolution. What that means, it needs to be the picture that comes directly from the camera. Now, at one time I used to say it can't be camera phones, but today some of these phones, these cell phones, these iPhones, they take pictures just as good as they will a regular camera. But as y'all can see, I'm streaming from my Sony camera. There is a big difference in the quality, right? So if you're going to use pictures, you need to make sure it comes directly from the photographer's camera. But graphics and diagrams, if you don't know how to design them, then you might hire someone like on Upwork.com. I really don't know the price points. Again, I'm not going to, I really don't coach on stuff that I don't necessarily, do. So I don't put graphics in my manuscript. What I do is instead of putting a graphic in my manuscript, like I might make it myself. Y'all know I know how to do, stuff like that on my own. And then I will allow people to download a bonus of the graphics and stuff like that by going to what I like to call a redirect link. So another thing, I'm going to get ready to finish it up with this, y'all, because I'm about to wrap it up. I'm ready to eat. So one of the things that I always make sure that I include in my manuscript is what I like to call a redirect link. The redirect link, the sole purpose of this is to, number one, give additional value to the reader, but for me to be able to track who's actually reading the book. Many authors do not do this, especially if you're selling your book somewhere else, especially if your title is fire. Because if your title is fire, then that person who bought your book from your website, not Amazon, right? They bought it from your website. Even though you track that customer, the original customer, they may give it to somebody else. Or what about when you have a school that wants to buy in bulk? They buy 200 copies of your book, or a conference that buys 200 copies of your book. You're not able to really track all the people who actually have your book. My number one reason for becoming an author was never to sell my book. I never wrote a book to sell it. I wrote the book to build a database to sell. And at the time, what I was selling was a network marketing opportunity. Now what I sell is the opportunity to be a part of my 3-day book camp or book profits club. So there's always an end in mind. Does that make sense? And it never finishes with the book. There's always something else. And your something else could be products. There's a woman right now, genius. She wrote a book. It's a children's book about barbecue sauce, because she has her own barbecue sauce. Now, I don't know how she plans to pitch it, but I doggone for sure would be leveraging my book to get on the media, to get exposure, to then pitch my barbecue sauce to maybe some private schools and things like that, since it's a children's book. And you can have the book and the barbecue sauce. Something like that. So you can have a book to pitch products. You can have a book. Maybe you're a massage therapist. We just talked about that, right? Why do people go get massages? To reduce stress. We are living in some of the most stressful times ever. I mean, Jesus Christ. Have y'all pumped y'all gas lately? I mean, I was thinking to myself, they got the song. Well, I know it's not talking about 5 on it for the car, but back in the day, we used to be like, I got 5 on it. Now, of course, the 5 on it could mean 1 or 2. But y'all know when we sang it, like if you wasn't puffing, you was using it for the gas. I got 5 on the gas tank, right? 5 can't get you nowhere today. You know how stressful that is? I was thinking to myself yesterday in the car. I was like, damn, there's literally people right now who cannot afford to drive. They can't afford to drive. That is some stressful stuff. We need to reduce this stress. My iridologist, she told me, she said, you are stressed. I wanted to be, she talking about you stressed. I was like, duh. Did you see what's going on in the world? She probably don't even know, child. This lady was 75 years old, honey, living her life. She probably don't know nothing that's going on in the world. Okay. But yeah, so a massage therapist could write a book about overcoming stress. And one of the steps is to get she creates a special technique massage. Like there's people right now, they're professional stretchers. They do professional stretching massage. And I say it like this because it's a technique that was created but now it's unique and niched, which makes them more highly sought after. So you create this stress reliever massage where you hit, like I went to the Bahamas, and I've never had a massage like this. This girl was hitting like pressure points. She did like pressure points, almost like a acupuncture, but not with the puncture, acupressure massage. I was drooling, knocked out. I would easily pay a couple of $100s to come and get that massage again, right? So anyway, so now you're a massage therapist and you only want to tailor high level individuals. You write a book about overcoming stress in a competitive marketplace. And now you're being interviewed on the news because you're talking about a topic that's highly sought after, and it's unique because you're a massage therapist. What? This is what a twist. So do you see what I'm saying? So you leverage your book based on what you want to do. All right, y'all, I'm going to wrap it up for today. I've been here since 7 o'clock. I know we have plenty more questions. I am going to be back live on Sunday. So if y'all want to join me Sunday night, I'm going to be doing these. I'm going to be doing more of these, but I'm definitely going to be back live Sunday. So make sure if you're watching me on YouTube, please subscribe and give this a thumbs up. If you're watching me on Facebook, please share this video to at least a couple of people. If you're watching me here on Instagram, of course, I'm not going to be saving it, but we're streaming on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all of them. Only one I'm not streaming to yet is TikTok because I got to get my TikTok followers up. How many you got to get to stream? Is it 1,000? I need some help with TikTok. I hate all these social media platforms. It's just too much. All right, y'all. Well, I pray that you guys enjoyed this training. I hope you learned a lot. Make sure, guys, that you want to definitely hit up my free masterclass by going to 10kbook.com. 10kbook.com. I appreciate you guys being here, and may you have a wonderful, blessed Thursday night. Deuces, y'all.